Hello Stampers, welcome back. Today I want to show you this gorgeous card made with Lighting the Way stamp set and dies. I just really love how this card turned out, and so I'm excited to share it with you today. First of all, for your card base, you're going to use black 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I'll take my bone folder and give it a nice crisp fold. There we go. Then I took another piece of white paper for a frame, and I used this die which is in the mini catalog, and I ran it through my embossing machine, and this is what it came out looking like. I'll show you how to do one in a minute, another one. So there's that. Then the next layer will be a black frame, and then we're onto these little panels, which is where the real art comes in. So I'll just set that there for now. And the first thing we want to do is take a piece of cardstock, which is, I meant to write this down. It's 1 7/8 inches by 4.5. And the first thing you want to do is we're going to use 2 leaf stamps. And actually this one's going to be grass and this one's going to be the tree. So I'm taking my memento pad and I'm going to stamp the grass first. And so I'm just inking up the bottom portion of that stamp set, and I'm stamping on, stamping off, and I might just stamp off again to sort of give it a look that it's in the back, the grass is in the background. Now there's some little lines because I'm not doing a very good job. I'm kind of rocking it, so I'm getting this black area up here. Usually that would bother me, but for this card it really doesn't bother me at all. It's going to look just fine. All right, so that looks good. And now I'm going to do the tree. So it's going to come in like that. I have one coming kind of down at an angle, and then one up here at top. All right, so that's that panel. And I guess while I'm stamping, I may as well just stamp these other 2 little panels. This is the top right panel, and it is 1 7/8 inch by 1 1/4. And on that one, I'm going to stamp the little swirl of dragonflies, listen to me, lightning bugs. I guess they could be really any kind of bug, but little bugs. And I'm not too happy with that. I'm going to flip it over. It's too high up. Let's try it again. You always get two opportunities with this, right? I want it to go further down on the paper. So there, that's better. And then I use the sentiment, follow your dreams. Although one of the ladies in my stamp club found another sentiment. I don't even know what she did on hers, but you don't have to use follow your dreams if you don't want to. But that's what came with the set. And it fit there perfectly, so that's what I used. But you could use other words, like I said. All right. So that's the basic stamping on this card. So now comes the artistic part, which is the embossing and the sponging. So for the next step, we are going to dry emboss this element. So I'm going to bring in my embossing machine. See if I need to zoom out any. Okay, there's that. We're going to use the 1 plate, and I'm using the Fern 3D embossing folder, and I need the specialty plate, which is the 4 plate. It says 4 there. All right, so to do this, you want to, first of all, nest this in your embossing folder. And I like to do it, well, you want to do it away from the edge. If you're too close to the edge, you're going to get a blank space. And I try to square them up, although this particular embossing folder, it doesn't really matter. And you want the corner or the folded edge to go into the mechanism. So you put it like that and run it through. And everything's shaken. And I'm just going to move this out of the way so we are done with it. And here it is. You know what? I did it backwards. Shoot. I debossed it instead of embossing it. So I should have told you, so you want the Stampin' Up side to go on top to emboss it instead of deboss it. So let me quickly do that again. Normally it wouldn't matter, but because I'm sponging, it really does need to be the right way. So sorry about that. We'll try it again. Thankfully I had another one already stamped and ready to go. So of course the good thing about this is you see that us demonstrators aren't perfect. We make mistakes too, and sometimes they're happy mistakes and you actually like them, and sometimes it doesn't really work. So if you, I don't know if you can see the difference or not, but this is embossed in that the embossing side is raised and this is debossed and that is not raised, and it's going to make a difference when we sponge. So, and in fact I could show you the difference. Maybe I will, just go with it, just for learning purposes, since I made the mistake. All right, the first thing I want to do is start with Evening Evergreen, and I'll do them both just to show you the difference, to show you the grass. And so I'm taking this brush, and what you want to do when you use these brushes is kind of rub off on the paper first and then rub onto your project so that you're not, otherwise you get a big blob of color. All right, so that's all we need for that one. Don't need a lot of work because it's a deep color and it picks it up pretty rapidly. And then I'm starting with a new brush. It's actually not new because I used it yesterday in my stamp club, but it's basically a different color. You don't want to use the same color brush or the same brush in different stamp pads, or you're gonna like ruin your stamp pad. So this next color is Pacific Point, and I recommend doing that one next so that you can get a good kind of the sky color in this, and then we'll come in with a third color in a minute. And I'm just doing little circles. And the reason I'm doing this color second is because I wanted the blue background to show up. You see the fern's picked up, but the next color is going to kind of cover the fern. But when I do it this way, so this is the debust version, it's not going to give me the effect that I want because I'm not going to be able to get into that fern. I mean, it'll be fine, but it's not the effect that I wanted for this particular card. But since I already made the mistake, I just kind of wanted to show you the difference. I like to teach things. I like to teach when I stamp, not just blindly stamp. All right, so there's that one. And then for my third color, I'm going to be using Orchid Oasis. And I'll bring in a new blending brush. And this is where I kind of want to get it on the fronds of the palm. I guess that's a palm. I don't know what it is. so that I kind of have blue going in the background. And then the embossing's picking up the purple, the Orchid Oasis, which is it's pretty bluish purple. All right, so there's that. And so this one, so you're not even getting, I'm going to put a lot of ink on there so I can kind of, it just doesn't look as good in my opinion. But, you know, different people like different things, so I'll just show you for purposes of the card. I just think that this one looks so much better. So anyway, I'm going to set this one aside for now, and I'm going to do this little swirl because I put some color in that as well. And I want to go ahead and just kind of do the little bug area. And then I want to bring in my Pacific point on the corners. See if I can do this without opening that pad up again. There. How pretty is that? Put these away so I don't like get them on my shirt or something. Alright, so just got ink all over my hands. Hopefully they won't go onto my project. Let me see if I can wipe my fingers off a little. Okay, that's better. Okay, now we are pretty much done. All we have to do is assemble the card. And we're going to start with the pieces I already cut out first. And my adhesive. And I prefer to use tape. I'm going to zoom in a little. There we go. So there's the white base, then onto the black base. Which, by the way, this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I like to hover it to make sure I'm getting a nice even border all the way around. Then, you know what? I should have done the ribbon. Oh, where's my ribbon? Here it is. It's the Orchid Oasis ribbon. Let's see if I can pull this up. I think I can. Yep, I can. All right. I should have put the whole black panel together, but I didn't, so I'm just going to go like this. I'm just full of mistakes today, aren't I? All right, I'm just going to cut this off, and we'll finish taping the white on. And then I'll tie the ribbon. So to figure out these top panels, I just had to trial and error it till I got it to look right. I originally just started with a rectangle and cut it into 3 squares, but you can't really do that because you've got this little gap between these 2 panels here. So that didn't quite work for me. Alrighty, so that works. And so next I want to do the ribbon. I'll pull it up a little. And I'm tying it off to the left because I want to put in a firefly. So I just did a little half, just did like a double knot I don't know what that's if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it. And although I have enough, I might just do a bow since I kind of messed up anyway. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my firefly. I'm going to use my glue mat, which is really nice for this sort of thing. And I went ahead and just cut these in advance. But like I showed you initially, these are the pieces that you get in the die package. And once I find my glue, I can put this together. So the first thing I did when I did this was, oops, it goes the other way, is I put the, well, we're going to put the wings on the back. Then we'll put, I don't know if this is called the abdomen or the thorax. I don't remember. But I do know, I remember it's one of them. And then we'll put, that must be the thorax and this is the abdomen. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's something, right? Part of the insect. There that is. And then, just for cuteness, I did a vellum, a little vellum wing for the top. Of course, when you work with vellum, you get this glue dot, like it's visible. So to cover that up, you usually want to cover it up. Although I got enough glue, you couldn't really tell, but I thought it was really fun. So you can kind of fold the wings up and down, and you have a pretty nice three-dimensional look. But I also added in a little in color matte decorative dot. Whoops. Got things going everywhere today. So I'm going to pull one of those off. I like to use my scissors to pull it off. That way you get the adhesive with it. If you just grab it with your fingers, sometimes you end up leaving the adhesive there. Which you can go back and get it again if you need to, but it's a little bit annoying. All right, so now I'm going to put my bog on the card. And I'm just going to cut a strip of tape for that so that it's skinny. Could also use like a glue dot or something, but this was just what I had handy, so that's what I'm going to use. Along the back. I put it at a slight angle. And there it goes. And yeah, maybe since I've got such a long piece over here, I'll try a bow. See, we can see what the difference looks like on that. My hands weren't so cold. It's really cold down here in my basement. Really looking forward to summer because it's still cold down here in the basement, but then it feels really good. All right, if we're going to do a bow, I think I want to slide it over to the left a little so it's not so close. If I can, it's not going to let me. All right, well, that's just going to have to work. And my scissors, just going to trim it up a little. And there we go. So there it is with a bow. There it is without a bow. Totally up to you how you want to do it. Now the last thing that I did was I put in, you might notice I had three little lightning bugs, and I just glued them on the inside panel on a white strip. But since the video is getting long already, I'm just going to stop there and have a good stamping day.